I am an atheist, and believe it or not, I do have morals. The moral that I want to talk about in this video I didn't get from any religious source, and I don't think I got it from any specific secular source. But if you know of any philosopher that has said something to this effect, then please let me know, because I'd like to read up on it. But anyway, here's the moral. The amount that you can assert that you are correct in your position is directly proportional to the amount of tests that you have passed that have been posed against your position by your opponents. So the person that does not accept any test against his position has the least right to say that they're correct. And the person that says they have the most, that accepts the most tests from their opponents and passes, has the most right to say they are correct. Anyway, I think it's perfectly reasonable. Now, there are three questions that have to do with this. And they sort of have to do with the Socratic method, but most on this moral. So if we can all agree that this is a good standard to live by, then I think that we can all get along pretty good. These three questions I asked to Chris Palace a while ago, and he never responded. But the reason this is brought up now is because I asked the first of the questions on the comments to this woman on the righteous responders. Is it righteous responders? But anyway. And she answered in the negative. And the guy that does the righteous responders, he also answered in the negative. But anyway, we'll get to that. I'd like for everybody to participate, especially the theists. Atheists can too. Certainly, I think the atheist should go by this moral and should accept these three questions. And should ask them and accept the results from them. So anyway, here's the three questions. And I think this will be good for just about any situation that there's going to be an argument over something. The first question is, can you be incorrect in your position? Now, if you met a lot of theists, the atheists who met a lot of theists, it seems like they don't think they can be incorrect. They usually say, well, God is perfect and, this is the Word of God. It can't be flawed. But of course the question becomes, is that really the Word of God, and how do you know it is? Are you certain that that's the will of God, that that's the Word of God? Most Christians will say yes, but if you keep asking them, they will usually say no, but they believe it is. But still, you need an answer of whether or not they can be correct on, is it the Word of God or not. It was the question of, is Jesus the one true living God, that I posed to the girl, and that and she says no. There's no way that she's wrong. But I think she's moving over to, it's a faith issue. Now, the righteous responders guy, he said there is absolutely no way that he is wrong. And I asked him why. He says because God died for him. And I asked him how did he know that. He says because God lives in him, and now I'm to the point of asking him how does he know that. But anyway, he says, no, he cannot be wrong. But for all the rest of the Christians out there, hopefully you will admit that you are human and could be mistaken in this area. There's certainly lots of religions out there, and I don't think you would accept all of them saying, well, I believe it is true, it is faith, therefore I think I feel God, therefore I cannot be wrong in my beliefs. I don't think that's a very tenable stance to take. But if we can agree that we're all fallible, and there is some argument to be had, then we can move on to the next two questions. And the first one is, and it's directed to the person asking the three questions. What kind of test would you pose to me that I would accept to test my own position? In this case, I'm an atheist, and I'm going to say there's lots of tests that I would accept. Like if I asked Jesus to appear next to me, or to be transported to the moon, or whatever, like they're transported to heaven or to hell for a few seconds and come back, or whatever it is, I don't think that's going to happen. And you can say, well, it will if you ask Jesus, and I can ask him, and we'll see if it happens or not. And if I pass the test and it doesn't happen, then that gives me a point. So I don't know what kind of question you want to ask me, but it has to be one that I will accept. And the third question is the one to you. What kind of test would you accept from me to test whether you are correct or not? And we're not testing your God, just to make it clear. We don't test gods or anything. We're testing you, since you're human. We need to make sure that you have not made a mistake. Of course, if you say that you cannot have made a mistake, I suppose that that makes you non-human in at least one respect. But I think these three questions, a lot of atheists and theists should try this out. I think it'll be a lot less name calling and such if we can get this out of the way. So anyway, I desperately want to hear your test posed to me, and what test you will accept. I think this will be lots of fun, and I'm not afraid. So if my position is wrong, then certainly test me.